and good afternoon. After a failed attempt to hit up a restaurant, they were closed. I decided to drive about 10 minutes away from that restaurant over to a place called Penguin Village. This is a area that was created pretty much for the silver community, as they like to put it here, or the elder community in this area. And I stopped by the Penguin Cafe for some penguin bread and some coffee because I'm starving. So we have a little penguin dude right here. Looks good. And there are tourists, even though it's pouring. It was actually hailing on the way over here, so I'm gonna go ahead and give this a shot. They're custard-filled pieces of bread. What's not to like? I'm also so hungry. I had 2 granola bars and a fruit snacks about 2 hours ago. And then 2 hours prior to that, I had 2 mooncakes from Jeonju, which they're famous for. I'm gonna eat these and then drink my coffee and move around the city a little. It's really cute. It is really nice here, so shoot, there was a lady pacing in front of me just now. I think she's gonna come back any second, but I'll check back in a moment. Let me get these down, get a couple sips, put the mask back on. I'll feel much more comfortable talking. So, be back in a moment. All right, I have moved a little bit, I guess you could say. I'm standing next to the official radio station of the area. They're blaring it on the loudspeaker here, but you can actually see the DJs inside the office there. It's kind of cool, and they're taking phone calls and playing a lot of older songs and having like older folks sing along with it. It's pretty cool. And currently I'm standing at probably the highest point of Penguin Village, not including that that building over there or surrounding buildings that aren't part of Penguin Village. I'm actually standing on top of the bathrooms. The men's and women's restrooms, are below me. And it's kind of neat because they put penguins on the roof here. There are old propane tanks or fire hydrants that they've been painted over to look like penguins. It's really cute. And like I was saying before, this area is created for older folk to kind of have interactions, not only amongst themselves, but with younger folk too. And a lot of what I'm seeing is a lot of creator stations. So a lot of you could do this type of art here, welding there, drawing here, painting there. And it's just, there's art all over the place here. The only sobering fact is at the very entrance of the Penguin Village, which I found, there is a statue as well as a sign that lets you know that this whole area is actually dedicated to a woman who was used as a comfort woman during World War II. She has 2 statues there. One as a 16-year-old girl when she got forced into it, and then another as a 92-year-old woman with her memories still intact. And so that's pretty nuts. But yeah, this place is pretty awesome. I can see it being pretty cracking when it's not raining and cold and maybe a weekday. There are quite a few tourists here. Just now, I was eating those penguin breads. I have to say that I've never felt so alone eating something. When I saw, I was eating those things, I was okay. And then that lady that was walking back, pacing in front of me, I found out why. She's leading a group of blind people through, well, semi-blind. They could somewhat see, and you could tell because they're moving around each other. I think out of the entire group, only one person couldn't see a thing, because he actually had a cane and he was touching the floor with it in order to move forward. This isn't a criticism on them at all. That's just something that I noticed. But they all went to the same cake shop that I went to, and then they bought the same box of cakes that I bought. And it was like a large group of them. There was like 10 of them, right? And then they all stood in front of the shop together and took a photo together. And then they all ate those cakes together. And the lady was trying to get the group together. That's why she was pacing. And I was just sitting there going, man, I am eating this entire box of cakes by myself. And aside from me just being a fat ass, I was just looking at their group interaction and they were having so much fun. I really hope one day that I'll see something like this in the United States. Almost every other country I've been to now I've run into something where, for lack of a better word, the disabled are really well taken care of by the community. They're going out on field trips, they're going out to restaurants, and I don't see that at all back home. Maybe I'm just missing it and I'm not looking for it. You know, I'm gonna try to start looking for it now, because it's heartwarming, and at the same time, I just didn't feel good about myself. It was one of those, like, man, what am I doing with my life type of deal situations, but I'm gonna go have some fun, and you know, I will keep it in mind and in the back of my head, but yeah, let's get back to enjoying the village. I'm gonna go look around a little bit more, and then I'm probably gonna go home after this, and I have kind of an idea of what I want to do for dinner, so I'll be back in a moment. All right, I've actually finished walking around. I'm coming back over to where I parked, which is a little distance. You know, I randomly actually found the penguin place, as in I got lucky. I just turned down an alleyway and started walking down it. Just so happened to be the right alley to be walking down. As I was saying before, the area is kind of like a maker's market, and I just brought up certain things that came up, like painting and all that. There's sewing, there's music creation, there's candles, like candle creation, pottery. There's so much that you could do there, and I could really see that being a huge hit with all ages. And it's kind of neat that there's a lot of older folk here, for sure, that I've seen walking around. And, you know, if you want to get them to interact with the younger folk, if they're doing those things together, I don't see how they couldn't be interacting together. So, really neat place. 10 out of 10 would do it again. You know, it's kind of this is the last, like, touristy thing that I'll be doing here in Gwangju. Tomorrow I leave to go to Mokpo, and although I do have a couple of things that are touristy in Mokpo, really, the one main thing that I'm going to Mokpo for is gonna be funny. So, wait for that video. But this place definitely could be one of those areas where you could either just spend a half an hour walking around, you know, like kind of like I did. I spent about 45 minutes walking around. Or you could spend like a whole day there, actually going into one of the maker or creator offices and sitting down and actually enjoying what they're doing. I think what they have there is awesome, and that it's super creative, and I would be surprised if it wasn't going to be successful. So anyhow, I've made it back to my car, and I think it's time to go park at home and figure out what I'm going to do for dinner. But like I said, I think I know what I'm going to do. Anyhow, we'll check back in the next video.